What's up, comic fans? It is time to preview the comic books coming out August 6th. That's today, alright? Usually we drop this video on a Tuesday, but we were a little busy, so we're dropping it today, Wednesday morning. So check this video out before you head to the store, or check this video out later in the day after you head to the store and see if you missed anything. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into it. You know we got spec books, spotlight books, we got FOC books. Those are due August 11th. All right, so Monday, you got to have those in by Monday. And then we got all the books coming out this week. All right, and we're going to do it a little bit different at the end this week. All right, so stay tuned, see how we do it. And we're going to do it all right after this. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start off with the spec books. First off the bat, we got Captain America, issue number 2. We were introduced to a new super soldier. His name was David Colton. In the last issue, we really didn't get much more than a cameo of when he becomes the super soldier. In this issue, we are going to meet David Colton as a super soldier. There you see Captain America, David Colton. All right, so new character here. I think there's another new character here too, but it seems like David Colton is the main one. And then there's a thing with Doom, so you can see Doom right there in the cover. All right, let's check out the rest of the spec books this week. Next up on the list, we have Radiant Black, number 36. We should have a new Radiant Yellow in this one. So if you're a fan of Radiant Black, or if you think this can blow up in some way like Invincible or something did, then get these new appearances or first appearances of these new characters. So there you go. You got a new Radiant Yellow in this one. And then last but not least on the spec list is Ultimate Wolverine number 8. And we have the first appearance of the Ultimate Universe's Angel. So you see them on the cover there. So this Ultimate Universe, a lot of firsts, because, you know, these characters are already established in the 616. But I guess they got to establish them in the Ultimate Universe. All right, those were the spec books. Let's get into some of the spotlight books for this week. All right, we're going to start off with Absolute Superman number 10. It looks like Ra's al Ghul might be turning the Absolute Superman towards his side. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I guess we have to read the comic book to find out. All right, next on the spotlight list, Amazing Spider-Man number 9. All right, you get the introduction of the Aftershocks. They're, I guess, allies of the Shocker or something. So in last issue, Spider-Man got his butt whooped by Hellgate, and in this one, there's a group called the Aftershocks, which looks like they, I don't know, they may be bad guys. There is a J. Scott Campbell variant for this one, so if you're into J. Scott Campbell, there's a lot of J. Scott Campbell variants coming out this week. Here is one of them, MJ. Who else would he do? Obviously, it's only going to be MJ. All right, we're moving on. We have Something is Killing the Children, number 43. All right, this is on the list because it is a foil virgin variant, and it's cover B. So if you're into Something is Killing the Children and variant copies, this one might be for you. All right, we're going to keep the ball rolling. Now we're at Absolute Batman number 12. We are now in the FOC category, all right? None of the websites I went to actually had a cover of this except for League of Comic Geeks. So Absolute Batman number 12, this is a glow-in-the-dark variant by Steven Subic. So check that out. You know, honestly, I look at this, it's probably one of those that looks better in person, but I look at this cover and I don't know. I'm not sold, but who knows, maybe it's real cool. It says image 1 of 6. Oh, these are the other images. Here you go. That's cover C, I think. But that's cover D. All right. So, whoa, what did I do? Get out of here. All right. So that's cover D, Steven Subic. Check it out. All right, we're moving on, and that's glow in the dark, by the way. We have Ultimate Wolverine number 9. The Sentinels. Look at the cover. We're getting Sentinels in this issue, guys. So, if you're an X-Men fan, you know no X-Men story is complete without Sentinels. So, Sentinels being introduced. Alright, and last but not least, we have Marvel Zombies Red Band number 1, Clayton Crane variant. Alright, so looks like the Fantastic Four have been zombified. This is Clayton Crane. This will come in a poly bag because it's the red band, meaning it's going to be just a little bit more serious than the non-red band, if there is a non-red band. I don't know if there is a different version of this, but it will be polybagged. Probably a lot of flesh eating going on in this one, and it's zombies, so zombies are pretty gruesome. Alright guys, those were all the comics. Those were not all the comics. Those are the FOC comics that I wanted to show you. Alright, let's get into all the comics coming out this week. This week we're using Cover Price. In the past, we had been using League of Comic Geeks. And before that, we were using Shortbox and... Not Shortbox, sorry. We were using Pullbox by Previews World, which was attached to Diamond. We all know the issues there, so we've moved on. Alright, we're going to start off with Marvel. They have 87 items listed for Marvel on Cover Price. Alright, it's going to be variants as well, but let's go. Let's see if we can get through it. We have all new Venom, right, number 9. A couple of covers there, including a J. Scott Campbell variant. There is a 1 in 100, and then there's the open order. The only difference is trade dress. You'll see that with all the J. Scott Campbells coming out this week. We've got ASM. We did talk about, you know, the new. I don't even know if they're villains, but the aftershocks are coming. That's all I can say. We got Captain America number 2, okay, with David Coulson. A lot of covers for that, including a Valerio Schetti design variant. Usually there's a 1 in 10, but maybe it's a 1 in 25 this week, not sure. Daredevil Cole Dan Hell, this should be the last issue of that. Charles Soule and Steve McNiven on that title. Gwenpool number 4 is out. Wolverine number 9 is out. There is a J. Scott Campbell Ghost Rider on that. Let's see, Marvel Rivals Hellfire Gala is out. Couple of covers on that one. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu. I mean, there's a couple of covers out on all these. One World Under Doom, issue number 6. Apparently there's some revelations coming out of that book. So if you've been reading One World Under Doom, look out for that one. What else? You got the Red Hulk, Spider-Man and Wolverine. I've heard some good things about Spider-Man and Wolverine, but I haven't read it yet. Star Wars, Legacy of Vader. There is supposed to be a new Jedi introduced in this one. So, a new old Jedi. He survived the orders, so there you go. Storm, I've heard, has been a good read. Have not seen that. I read issue 1 of Superior Avengers, and that was it. Ultimate Wolverine's coming out. That's really good. And then you have Ultimate X-Men. I've also heard that is pretty good. I read the first, I think, like 10 issues of that, so I'm a little bit behind there. This Rod Reese Ultimate X-Men cover is nightmare fuel. Alright. Where are we at? Got some Uncanny X-Men. There's a Rogue, JSC, J. Scott Campbell. And what else? You got some Wolverine and Deadpool. Alright, we're on to the next one. Dynamite. Dynamite is usually number 1. They just have like a ton of covers. So we're going to try to get through this without making too much noise. The Herculoids are on issue number 6. Then there's going to be a lot of covers for that. Red Sonja, The Army of Darkness, issue number 4. A lot of covers for that. Let's see. The Silverhawks. They've got some ratio variants coming out this week. And some regular covers. Thundercats on issue number 17. Thundercats are on the loose. Thundercats are loose. Alright, let's see. Yep, there's still more Thundercats. Alright, Vampirella's on issue number 4. Alright, couple covers for that. Yes, very vampy covers. We love the vampy covers. And now, it was like 4 comics, but like 60 something covers. Crazy. We're off to DC. Let's go. Let's get to DC. Absolute Green Lantern number 5 is out this week. Absolute Superman number 10. The Absolute Universe I've definitely been reading. I have found them to be absolutely entertaining. We got a new comic coming out this week. Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League. There's a facsimile of Detective Comics 880. And that comic is really just famous for the cover. But people love the cover. What else? You got some Poison Ivy. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong Part 2 is on issue number 3. And then, yeah, some other books. Not to put anything down, you got The Secret Six on issue number 6. Alright, we're at Boom Studios. Boom, here comes the boom. Ready or not. What do you got? You got Blink and You'll Miss It number 1 by, I guess there's a cover by Christian Ward. There you go. Hello Darkness is already on issue number 13. What else? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is on issue number 1. I believe that was a video game back in the day. So, I don't know. Power Rangers Prime is on issue number 9. If you're a Power Rangers fan, plenty of Power Rangers coming out of Boom. Something is Killing the Children is on issue number 43. So, very cool. And that is it. Be on the lookout for that foil variant if you're into that. It's cover B, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Image Comics. What we got out of Image Comics? You got some Black Ritual. The Book of Nyx is on issue number 4. That's part of the Spawn universe. Bitter Roots on issue number 5. Farmhand is on issue number 24. That was optioned a long time ago by Netflix. We'll see if it actually comes out. G.I. Joe is on issue number 319. That's a Real American Hero. And don't forget there's also the Energon verse G.I. Joe that comes out of Image as well. Monkey Meat's on issue number 5. A lot more comics. Radiant Black number 36. We'll have the new Radiant Yellow showing up in that one. World Trees on issue number 16, a James Tynion joint. And then you do have The Walking Dead Deluxe. That is The Walking Dead in color. The original Walking Dead was in black and white. Alright, we're off to ONI Press. We got some EC books. Cruel Universe coming out. What else? Rick and Morty versus the Universe. Summer of Love. Looks like Summer's getting some love in that book. Bad Idea. Cul-de-sac is coming out. That sounded like a pretty good premise. You got some vampires on the run. Some kid vampires on the run in that one. And then you got the Hero Trade number 1. You never know which books are just going to be sold and which ones you need to jump through hoops to get from Bad Idea. We're at Dark Horse. And you have a crossover this week. You have Archie versus Minor Threats. So, plenty of covers for that. We got some Ghostbusters, some Hellboy, and Tramps of the Apocalypse. Alright, we're off to IDW. What do we got? You got Godzilla Dead Zone. Everybody's got some Godzilla book coming out now, so that's crazy. Little My Little Pony, and some TMNT, some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Udon Entertainment. They had a Mega Man cover come out last week, or several Mega Man covers, but we got Street Fighter this week. Street Fighter number 1. Alright, Mad Cave Studios. Got some Dick Tracy. Orla. That looks like a new book on issue number 1. And we're off to Archie. Lots of Archie books. Get your damn parent cover. But Archie's Jumbo Comic Digest number 364 is out this week. We're off to Titan. You got Return to Skull Island. You got some Kong going on. Can't have too much Godzilla without some Kong. Amp. I have no idea what comes out of Amp, but you got Rosario Origins or Origins. Keen Spot. That's where you get your Mark Spears monsters. There is a Vampirella Virgin Holofoil coming out this week. I think last week they just had the non-holofoil come out. But a couple second printings and such. Vault Entertainment has Money Shot Big Bang. This is the Lilith crossover black bag. There's a couple of black bags. They're in a black bag, so I'm pretty sure that's why there's no image available for those. So they are bagged. Out of Ahoy Comics, you got Ancestral Recall, Panic Entertainment, Tama. We're really at the Indies comic experience. Warrior Spirit. What else? Fortress, Out of Strangers. AWA, Artists, Writers, and Artisans, has Illuminati. Number 2. Floating World Comics. Fantagraphs. Oh, I didn't tell you. Robot Todd is out of Floating World Comics. Fantagraphs has Roy, number 1. Afterlight Comics, Snow Owl. And that's it, guys. Those are all the comics that Cover Price had listed for us this week. Alright, comic fans, if you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go ahead and throw me a thumbs up, comment down below. Do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to get ready for this week's comics. Peace, deuces, we're out. Ka-chink.